Somehow I got lucky, and it could be because this phone is suspected of sabotage now. Welcome back to another repair. Today is an iPhone 7 Plus, and all we know about it currently is it is dead. So let's go through some diagnostics and see if we can find out what's wrong with it. Plug into PortaPow. We get nothing. So let's open it up and see what's happening on the inside. So before I go too far, first thing we're going to do is hook up DC power supply and see what we get there. Well, that was unexpected. Wow, well this has been a long time of sitting on an Apple logo here. So, what makes it sit on an Apple logo? Because it's almost... Okay, so not sure what's going on, but it's not being read by the computer and it's not booting. It's been like 10 minutes now. This is kind of ridiculous. DC power supply is going through what appears to be a standard boot cycle, peaking about 1100 milliamps, and then dropping back to 300 and bouncing everything in between. And it's not being seen by the computer. So let's disconnect that, and let's take out the logic board. I got a new standoff screwdriver from Mike. Thank you, good buddy. Let's try it out. I've never used one of these. Holy mackerel. That's nice. Wow, I have always used a flathead for those. That's nice. Oh, Free Willy. Hot dang. Okay. Now we're going to do a wee touch of research, see if we can't figure out what we want to do next. Okay, so I've got it out, and we're going to do a quick visual under the microscope, because there's really nothing that appears wrong with this guy. The housing is in great shape. It doesn't look like it's been dropped or damaged. I was told this phone was trying to be restored, and it just died. So nothing ugly there. Start at the top. Nothing looks out of the ordinary. So in probing around, here is what I have found. This little guy is shorted, so just checking around. Uh-oh. So this guy shouldn't be beeping. And let's see who and what he is. So he is this guy right there, PP1V8 SDRAM. So I'm gonna look around at all of these that he is connected to. My goodness, he goes to a lot of places. Busy, busy chip. And under the microscope in those areas, there's really nothing that stands out. Nothing, nothing, nothing. So we're just gonna start shooting in the dark, and I'm gonna pull this guy off right there. Right there. So we are just going to shoot in the dark and go for this guy. Going to take him off and give him some new balls and see if we can relieve that short. PP1V8 SDRAM. Okay, let's touch those pads. That looks all right. Okay, let's check and see if that relieved our short. Hold your breath. It did not relieve our short. So let's go for that cap. And if it's not that big guy, then we'll have to do some more research. I think we're going to use hot air. So let's test this little dude. He is not. Nope, he is testing good. Set this out of the way. Let's double check that line. Still short. We are going to take a look some more. So it has been a couple days since I started my investigation on this phone, and we had discovered that it is a PP1V8 SDRAM short. And there's not a lot of information online about PP1V8 SDRAM shorts on iPhone 7 Plus, but we did find it, and it was on that cap that I've kind of poked at and prodded at that looks a little bit ugly, but he's good, I promise. Tried connecting to this guy here too. But to relieve the short, I did something that I didn't expect to relieve the short on an SDRAM line, and that was to pull TriStar. Now, I didn't pull TriStar the first time because I suspected that the short was going to be under the SDRAM chip, since that's common enough to happen on iPhone 7s, and the only repair video I could find on this exact line showed them grinding off the CPU and replacing the SDRAM portion of it. Somehow I got lucky, and it could be because this phone is suspected of sabotage now. But we're going to go ahead, and now that the short was cleared by pulling TriStar, we're going to put a brand new TriStar on and see if we can boot. There's my 610A3B. Little dabbity dab do of flux. Tiny bit more flux. And let's watch it dance. There we go. He looked like he was hanging on, not wanting to go melt. Okay. So there's TriStar remounted. These little guys have some paint chips, but I'm not going to worry too much about them just yet. We're going to let this board cool and see what happens when we plug it back into its housing. Oh, let's test our shorts. Okay, so we had a 1V8 SDRAM line short, and I know for sure that this guy right there. So let's get him and see if he beeps. That side beeps, and that side doesn't. Let's check this one. Alright, so we have our TriStar back on, and no more SD1 RAM lines, or SDRAM lines. No more PP1V8 SDRAM. The rest of this board looks really good. Suspected sabotage. So, the guy who brought this phone to me told me that he knew a guy who had a thumb drive that he said he could plug into anything and it would kill it right there on the spot. And I had already given up on this phone before I really knew what this device kind of was. And he told me a second time that there were two wires hanging out of it, and if he touched both of them back together, he could kill the phone. And so that instantly got me thinking, it's like, well, if it's coming in through USB, PP1V8 has a filter on right down in here, and runs into TriStar and runs over under the RAM and under the audio IC and a couple of other things here. But when he told me that it had to touch two wires together, well, that kind of made me think about cheap chargers from Apple and how they blow the TriStar, so not sure how that worked or why, but I think this board is ready to cool down and be tested. So let's test it. Super nice standoff screwdriver. Thank you, Mike. Thank you. That night and day difference from a stinky little flathead. Night and day. Appreciate it. It holds on, goes in the little hole sometimes. Okay, all put together. And plug it in. We have a dead battery sign that you can't see. Maybe. So we know that the charging dock is bad too. But someone else is going to be doing that repair. Thanks for watching, and we will see you on the next repair.